Okay, maybe. Alright, this looks a little more like what I remember. Yeah. Alright. Hi, everybody. So, I've only got like 20 minutes, but I know I said I would do this once in a while. So, here we are. I'm sitting in my office, and I came to get some of my supplies because I have to do some prep for a gnome druid, a gnome cleric, a gnome rogue, and a human monk for my 7-year-old daughter's first game. I don't have a ton of time to do this, but I'll probably try to do it like once every other month, maybe. Anyway, questions, throw them at me. What are your thoughts after 50 episodes? I hope that there are 250 more. I love doing the show. It's one of the highlights of my week. I do it with my favorite people. And, you know, life and work get hectic. And I think the reason all of us are drawn to it is it gives us a little time to break away. What is RWBY? Would I ever consider voicing something in RWBY? I don't know what it is. My kids have seen snippets of the show. I think for my taste, it's a little too blue for them. They're young. But I have sort of pre-screened parts of it and shown them stuff. I showed them a little bit of the Goblin game the other day because I thought they'd get a kick out of that. My dagger collection is quite big. It's up here. My Nerd Shelfer's Battle Cat, being ridden by Nightcrawler. But up here, out of reach of little hands, are multiple daggers. There's the brand new one from this past episode. There's Bahamut, excuse me. Yeah, they're all up here. By the way, Matt Mercer has totally corrupted me, and I'll show you what I mean by that. We're not done. Yeah, so I'm not quite as addicted as Matt is, but I'm getting there. This year, for my kids, at the back of my desk. Biggest advice as a dad? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer to that. Just try your best. Can I come to a con in Ontario? Well, me coming alone or us coming as a group are two different things. I'm probably more likely these days to go to a convention with the group because I don't go to many conventions because I don't like leaving my family that much. And now I want to go with the CR gang. So, and then the problem with getting all of us to a convention is you got to get all of us, and we have crazy schedules. So we'll definitely hit some conventions. Not a million, because the stars have to align, but we'll get out when we can. I have not considered recording my kids' games. There's a level of privacy I'd like to keep for my home life and my family. So that'll just be a home deal. Let me see. Are you going to Denver Comic-Con with the group? If we have plans, they'll be announced by the con. What is my favorite mini? Oh gosh, what's my favorite mini? Do you even have to ask? Here he is. There he is. Send all your advice to him. Let me see. Coming back. Okay. Podcast soon. Yeah, podcast soon. Sam and I talk about it all the time, even though we don't do it. We do want to do it. And now I have gift certificates to Swordplay LA. So Sam and I will get our butts over there and whack each other, I guess. Let's see. Do I like being a rogue in the game? Yes. That's what I gravitated towards most. I like that Vex jumped into the rogue pool too. I think it's really cool how she ranged for so long and then leaned into the rogue, which is where she wanted to start anyway. How much fan art in gigs do I have from the critters? I don't know. I mean, I could probably figure that out. It's a lot. It's a lot. It is. It's a lot. Montana. Hello, Wisconsin. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, chances are I didn't see it while I was answering another question, so feel free to toss it out again. Good. More rogues. Kudo, CDOH _ the podcast, someone's asking what the podcast is. Sam, the podcast is why the Critical Role exists. The podcast was a show that Sam and I did semi-regularly a couple of years back. We piddle at it every once in a while, but where we talked about being overworked, busy dads with no time to do goofy shit for the two of us. And early in that short-lived run, and it's still going technically, but we pulled people together to do D&D, and I just went from there. Let me see. How does Vax feel about Vex's new perspective on death? I don't know. It just happened, so I mean, what Liam thinks is different than what Vax thinks for all these characters. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like weeks are going by on these episodes, and whether you guys realize it or not, I think you feel like these characters have lived with these decisions and these events. The same amount of time has passed between episode 41 and episode 50, but we're talking, Vex died, I don't know exactly, but it's been within a week. Still pretty fresh. Who do I think will almost die next? Oh, everybody. I think we're Matt's taking us into dangerous territory now, so I think the stakes are raised. What would your advice be to someone who wanted to start playing D&D? Just buy a player's handbook and try to find people. I've done a little bit of remote, as you've seen, and I've done it plenty in person. Remote is better than nothing. In person is better than remote, just because that split second of improvisation, the delay can kind of hurt things a little bit or slow it down a little bit. But again, I would rather play remotely than not play. So, DM advice, I have no DM advice because I am still riding with the training wheels on. I get a lot of requests, probably from some people in this Periscope right now, saying you should do a Periscope. You should DM a one shot. And with the amount of pylon that Matt gets for occasional decisions, and Matt knows everything. He knows everything, and he still gets piled on for occasional decisions. And I am fudging it and winging it and making it up as I go. I'm brand new, guys, and I'm doing it with a 7-year-old group and a 9-year-old group. So I don't think I'm quite ready for prime time. Give me a year to cut my teeth, maybe. It's fun. My kids love it. Both my kids love it. I can't wait till Romper Stomper, which is my nickname for my daughter, Romper Stomper and her 3 friends play on Sunday. I really can't wait. Let's see. BlizzCon this year again, I assume. I don't know if I'll officially be there, but I try to go even when I'm not on the clock. Did Matt Colville's tips help you? Yes, because I've watched Matt Mercer do it for 3 years, but I haven't listened to Matt Mercer talk about it for 3 years, and sort of Matt Colville sort of crystallized a lot of things that I think that Matt does as well. So it was a good added perspective, and that guy is just sharp as a tack and fun to listen to. I met him working on the game Evolve. He's the writer on that game, and I directed the lion's share of the voiceover on it, and we just became friends even before Critical Role, and we talked a little bit of D&D then because he knew we were playing on our own. Good guy. Is D&D ever stressful? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's stressful getting ready for the games, and I can really empathize for Matt just from preparing my children's kid games. And then anytime anyone dies, because it's not real, it's a game, but like let's say Vex or Vax were to die, the faux sibling relationship that Laura and I have had for this long is like an important and meaningful part of my life. And if one of us dies, we'll re-roll another character and rejoin, but that it won't be the same it could grow into being something just as good, but it won't be the same. It's this thing that I've had, with Laura for 3 years. It's like finishing a really, really good book. You don't want to get to the end, but then you do. So probably happen eventually. Whose death would hit me the hardest? I don't know. Does the show ever feel like a job and less like a hobby? Behind the scenes, a little bit, because we're spinning a lot of plates to make it go. But no, the games feel great, and gosh, I guess I'll mention this here because enough time has passed. The game has been like therapy for me for this entire time because my mom battled cancer for the past couple of years, and it got ugly at the end. And she passed away a couple months ago, so the funeral was me. Some of you know that a funeral happened, and it was me. So I don't want to dwell on it because it's private, and I'm making my peace with it. But this group of friends for me is, they're just really dear to me, and the game and their company has lifted me up when I needed it. So again, I don't want to drop down to the to despair or anything. It was hard, and it occasionally still is hard, but it's universal, and we all go through it, so we can move on from there. Yeah. It's okay. Thank you, guys. She was a great woman. Do I intentionally try to make people cry? No, I don't. You do know now, though, a lot of what was probably feeding me under the surface for the last year. So I don't know if things got. I don't even know what I'm saying. Let's lighten it up. What other lighter questions do you have? Did you check with Matt before letting Vax fall in with Keelit? Yeah, I talked about this on a Periscope with Matt and Marisha, actually, a month or two ago. I definitely did. Some of you already know, but in the Underdark portion of the show, Marisha did something. I honestly don't remember what it was at this point. But she did something that I thought was touching. And it just put the idea in my head. And I thought, oh, is that something you could even... Because I'd never, for the 2 years at home, I'd never had any notion or thought or inkling at all. And just because of something that happened in one episode, I wonder if you could do that in a game. I don't know. Would he be weird with that? This is a game. It's acting, sort of isn't. I don't know. So I talked to him about it, and I said, if that's something that you don't want me to do, I do not have to do it, and we'll just sweep it under the rug, forget it. And even when he was supportive, and to this day, like one of the most supportive people for Maxwell has been Matt. Behind the scenes has told me that he loves the story that we're carving out together. But I wasn't sure I wanted to do it because I didn't know. I don't know. There's never been a D&D show quite like this before, and who does publicly live on the internet the faux relationship with half elves? I don't know. So I kicked around the idea in the background and after talking to Matt, said maybe I'll do it and maybe I won't, and just sort of put a toe in, put another toe in, and then it felt like it was gonna be okay, and so went forward. And it's I played Juliet once. I pretended to be in love with a dude whose breath smelled like ham. It's just acting, guys. What's your... what? Oh boy, this is going fast. It's going fast. What was it like shooting the new Critical Role opening? Oh my gosh, it was the best. The hair, though, the long wig that they got somewhere and glued to my head, got caught on everything. It got caught in my mouth. It got caught on the buttons of my clothes. It got caught on doors as I walked through them. Loved the outfit and loved seeing everybody come to life. Loved watching Sam gyrate. I saw Sam do a lot of things that you haven't seen yet. It was the best. Any advice for voice acting? Yes. Study acting. Learn how to act. Go to where the work is. hit your head on the wall for 10 years and figure it out. And that's the truest advice there is. Did you guys keep your intro costumes? Pieces of it. A lot of the stuff was loaners from other people. But I have a lot of the stuff. Do I enjoy DMing my son's group? Absolutely. Absolutely. I loved scaring their pants off. I'm doing the starter set, which I think I'm going to start just making it up for my daughter after this. Because it's easy to remember your own stuff, and with the books, I'm going like, flipping around. I don't know. I'll probably jump back and forth, but there is a youngish dragon in that starter set, and scared the bejesus out of them. I knocked one of them down. I'm nerfing everything. I mean, at least for the first year, if not for much longer, no one's going to die. The most they'll ever do is fall unconscious, and I will fudge the dice rolls because I'm not going to make 9-year-old boys cry. It's supposed to be fun for them. Let me see. What was your... Let me see. What was one of your favorite fan gifts for Christmas? Gosh. Okay, you know, I'm not going to answer that one just because I don't want... A lot of cool stuff. And a lot of touching stuff and a lot of handmade stuff, but I don't want to say this and then have everyone else go, oh, so I guess I'll skip that one. Are there outtakes for the new intro? Probably somewhere, but I don't have access to them. Thoughts on Grog's near death? I don't want Grog to die. I don't want anybody to die. I don't want Percy to die as much as there's friction between those two. Gosh, I just didn't roll high enough with Raven Queen last week, guys. Let's see. The code for free shipping is I can't remember it. What did Pike learn from her insight check on Vax? You'll have to watch to find that out, or not find out. I don't know if you will. Is the bromance growing between Vax and Grog? I think the bromance has always been there, but like brothers, sometimes they really, lean on each other, and other times they want to punch each other. So, do you think Craven Edge will come back to haunt the group? I don't know. There's a lot of things that could come back to haunt us. Me specifically. There's a Rakshasa. There are hags. Bad decisions in general. No, you cannot send me 100 pounds of fudge. Something came in the mail, guys, with this last round of Christmas, and it wasn't, everything didn't show up in 2 weeks. It showed up over months. Somebody sent food, and it was rotten. It would smell bad. So, food, probably not a good idea. Let me see. Read anything good lately? I read. I just finished reading. I didn't finish it. I've been reading a comic called. What's it called? Harrow Country. Sort of like a Appalachian horror comic. It must be Harrow Country. How does Vax feel about polyamory? Guys, come on. I'll stay for like 5 more minutes, by the way, because I have to draw maps and plan some stuff. Which twin is older? I'm the older twin. By 5 minutes, I snuck out early. Did I see Acquisitions Inc.? I didn't watch the most recent. I've been too busy. I probably will. I don't know how soon, but I definitely will watch it sometime in like the next month. I haven't read the Uncanny Avengers yet. Are we ever going to see Vax and Gilmore getting flirty again? I don't know. Not on the same level, probably. Anything specific I want from Christmas? No, guys, just keep watching the show and enjoying it. I mean, that's what I want for Christmas. Just keep watching the show and enjoying it. Read the Hellboy books yet. Guys, I've read the Hellboy books many many times. But they live, whoa. They live down here now on that same shelf, just below my Vectrex. Do any of you know what that is? No. 5% of you know what that is. That was a video game machine in the early 80s with line graphics. It was not in color. The color comes from that. I used to do this all the time as a kid. See if I can get that back in there. Careful, there's ninjas. What else do I have up here? I have the door to my old Grayskull, Castle Grayskull when I was a kid. I've got some art that you might recognize there. Some books. There's Simon. And a poison kit. And my Dragonlance books from my youth. Those old books are the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was I think that's the second edition given to me by Laura and Travis. Here's Asura from Asura's Wrath. That's made of wood. There's a little Vaxlith art back there. That's the tooth of a prehistoric shark, which I've had since I was a kid. And that's a tie that belonged to my grandfather, who was a bus driver in upstate New York. You know who that is. You know who that is. You know who that is. What else? There's that guy. All my nerdy stuff up here, which was kind of boxed away in our last place. Hi, Hellboy. Got that. Those two. Here is the beginning of my daughter's group. I need to go to a store tomorrow and get some. This is my daughter's gnome rogue. And this will be gnome, I don't know, cleric or druid. Nobody's painted yet. Here's our monk. That's one game. This is my daughter's four girl game. This is for another game for my kids, which is just my son and my daughter. And he's playing a dwarven wizard. And she's playing an elven druid. And then my son's game are these three guys. My son playing the druid in the middle, and then we've got a rogue dragonborn and a fighter dragonborn. Yes, I am Vaxel-dyed. It's true. All right, I'm gonna pick 3 more questions out of the ether here, and then I gotta go do some stuff. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna watch for a minute and pick ones that I like. But it's so fast. I don't know what my ring size is. I won't count that for the 3. Are you a fan of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that play. And I think about it all the time when I work in video games, when I do pain and death sounds, because one of the characters, so it's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the 2 minor characters from the play Hamlet. It's a comedy told from their perspective. So those 2 guys are stuck waiting to talk to the prince, waiting to talk to the king and the queen, and they meet the player king, who's like an actor, the head of a troupe, and that guy goes on and on saying, oh, I'm going to paraphrase, but like, you want to see a death? We do all kinds of death. We do passionate death, sad death, tragic death, fiery death, and anytime I'm screaming and pretending to get electrocuted and pretending to get gutted, I think of that character in that play. Okay, I'm going to wait for the next 2. What do I think if Kynan returns? I don't know. I mean, if you'd asked me that 12 episodes or so ago, I might have had an opinion, but there's so much bigger fish to fry. I'm sure Vax hopes he's alive. I mean, you know, our game was sort of like a fanciful jaunt up into the mid-30s, really, and changed a little bit. But then, I mean, Mercer just went and knocked everything everywhere. So, you know, and I see a lot of stuff like, oh, Liam or Vax, so sad. And I have no doubt that, like, at a certain point, he'll probably, like, get his sea legs again. But it's really been, like, a week or 2 since everything went completely upside down. And many people he knows were killed, and his sister died in front of him. And he made a deal. Like he took a gamble and tried to negotiate with a god, and it totally blew up in his face. And so, the way I look at Vax is that his life has been, as much as his sister and I are tight as hell, their life has been kind of crap. What happened with the dragons was the bottom dropping out, and then what happened with Vex and Raven Queen was what he thought was the bottom dropping another 50 feet. So, I don't know, guys. I'm just doing what makes sense to me from my point of view. Let's see. I'm going to ignore some of these on purpose. Last question of the night. Favorite moment pre-stream. I'll tell you the three moments that stand out the most. That's a good cop-out. One is the birth of Burt Reynolds, which was us trying to enter a wizard's tower, and Sam ridiculously put his finger in front of his face and talked his way through it. And it was one of those moments where you could see in Matt's eyes, like, no, that's not going to work, forget it. And then the beauty of Dungeons & Dragons, Sam rolled a 20 and had to roll with it. So that was huge. The Pike Death was a huge moment that none of us will ever forget. And we're all like, I was standing up and it felt like I was vibrating. And again, it's not real. Of course it's not real, but we had this relationship with Ashley and this specific setup between all of us, this story. And if that character were to have gone, we would have missed that dynamic. So that was huge. And then taking down the Blue Dragon, who may or may not be part of the Chroma Conclave. We don't know either. Only one person knows that. But when he put the mini down, it was the scariest thing we'd seen on our home table. And there was so much ridiculousness leading up to it, with Grog just nuttily dragging coin to the bag of holding. And then I got the how do you want to do this on it, and I parkoured up a wall and went shink, and then just dragged all the way down, and he just toppled and started knocking the whole place down, and we had to flee and leap out of the teleportation circle we used to come in. So maybe those three. I bet there's more that I can't remember if I really thought about it. Anyway, this is one of my 4 or 5-ish Periscopes I'll do for the year. I hope you guys had fun, and I know I'm going to go design a cave full of spiders and a drow. So, peace everybody, have fun, and it's almost Thursday, so I'll see you soon.